There we go. I'll give this a 5. It's okay. It was more fun at the start, but after playing it for a while, it got a little old. Kind of a little bit like Arkanoid, but with some things that are like reversed. So yeah, you can have 2 different cube sizes, and I think that was the item, the C. I think that's the one that changes. But you always want to be small, because if you're big, you can't move and you can't fit through different gaps, and it's just awful. And if you've played the game for a while and you've gotten farther into it, being big is basically just a death, a guaranteed death, because the game is just designed around being small. There are some other items that are nice, like Vanish. There's an A that makes you go through the blocks. And the P items, if you drop a point item, the chain resets. So all you have to do to keep the chain going is just to keep collecting them. There is nothing more to it than that. And that's about it. I don't think there's much more you need to know. The music's pretty catchy, I guess. Well, I'm gonna go for a bit and just let the replay run.
Project Eco says, Gonad Sphere Fregasm.
I'm back. Project Aiko is here. Let's see, so how far... Oh, I guess this replay is longer than I thought it would be. We're still only at 200k. I can't quite clearly remember how long this game takes to play, but I guess it does take a while. So I got the big cube there, unfortunately. But you can switch back to small here. Things can go south so fast in this game. It's unbelievable. Like, one moment you think you're doing fine, and then the next you're like, oh shit, I'm dead. Not because you're suddenly falling into the hole, but because you're like increasing too many steps. You're scrolling the screen too much. Accidentally. Because maybe you have a big cube, or maybe you just made a mistake. I didn't mention this, but there is also like color chaining. So if you break blocks of the same color, it maxes out at a bonus 1000 points per block. But it's not very important, so that's why I didn't mention it. It's some decent extra points you can get sometimes. It does add up if you keep doing it when it's safe to do it, but it's not anything amazing. Most of the game it's not really safe to even think about doing that anyway. Like, maybe if you're super good at the game, you could start incorporating it throughout the whole game, but like, a lot of the time when it's actually possible to get bonus points that way, it's because the screen looks like this. You're gonna get those bonus points no matter what you do. What was the O again? Oh, O! Makes you break all blocks in one hit. Even the ones that take multiple hits normally. Very important item. Like, sometimes you wanna... Sometimes when you get an O, you wanna like complete stuff really fast. You can get to a point where you still have your O, and there's shit there that you need to break with the O. And if you're not fast enough, and you're not scrolling the screen, progressing fast enough, your O will run out. This might be one of those spots actually coming up. I can't remember for sure, it's been a while. But yeah, this might be a spot where... No, it looks like this is not a spot where you need to do that, because I'm color chaining. Or is it? I don't seem to be color chaining anymore. This game is also a memorizer. You will reach a point where, if you don't know what's coming, even though there is a handy map on the right, it's not really, for me at least, it's not really possible to rely only on that map. Like, it gets gradually harder and harder to just rely on the map the farther you progress into the game, because you have to look at the screen, and the screen might scroll really fast, and you just don't have time to read exactly what's going on in the future. There's just not enough time. So yeah, memorization is important. This part is a memorization part. This might be the first really important memorization part in the whole game, maybe. So I think this game would be really good if there was no big cube, just a small cube. I think it would be really good then. Like I would no joke just increase my rating from 5 to, I don't know, 7 just from that change. Because as long as you have the small cube, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's not amazing, but there's nothing really wrong with it, as long as you're small. But when you're big, it's just unbelievably bad. It's not designed around it at all. It's not only that you're bigger, but like you move slower sideways. So you move so slow sideways that it can just certain sections of the game can just be impossible. And it's not fun either. I mean, it's not fun to be the big cube. It's just frustrating. So yeah, that's the one thing that just really sucks. Like, you want to treat the big cube item as a def item. And that's fine. It's a def item. That's fine on its own, but it's not just that simple. They have deliberately put the def item in spots where you sometimes have to switch to big to even progress. And then you can switch back to small later. So sometimes you need to switch. And when you need to switch, then you can imagine that when you're big and the next item is coming and you need to switch back, you could miss that item. There's so many different ways you could miss the items. Because you have to do things in a strict order sometimes. And if you miss the item, you're still big. And if you're still big, you're gonna die because the game's gonna be unplayable. So it's a giant flaw. I don't know what they were thinking with this. Like, you could just go, oh well, they want your money, they want you to die, and this is how they're gonna make you die. Yeah, okay, but like I think there's probably more fun ways to make the players die. Oh my god, that was so scary. I wanted the P item. I almost died getting that P item. Because of their floating cube floating around. You can die so fast and so suddenly in this game from like bouncing between the floor and the tile somewhere. You can die so quickly from that. And so suddenly. This part of the game is this part is difficult. I remember this part being difficult. And it's also impossible if you're big. You have to be small. As long as you're small, it's okay, but it is scary. And I spot that on the map. There's another decisive part coming up. Once you're in the level 20s, things really do start to get difficult, and yeah. And what, yeah, wouldn't you know it, when you've died, you have to start over as Big Cube. It's so fucked up. So fucked up, this game. So I have to switch. I mean, if I stay big, I can't do anything. That was sick. Those take 3 hits each. Yeah, this section, I remember this section is hard too. There's just a lot of hard shit coming up in the level 20s. You have to avoid that item. Or you could have collected the first one and maybe get that one, but that would be risky in its own right. Trying to do anything at all when you're big can be a huge disaster. Oh yeah, next thing coming up is also tricky. I guess there's just nothing easy left this far into the game. It's that a giant grey diagonal tile set. That's pretty brutal. Thankfully, I have options. If you don't have option, this part is completely fucked. I think the option is running out soon. Yeah. Gotta keep the option up there, not be too slow, or you're pretty much dead. Still going for the point items. Yeah, it's scary. Almost got that death item too. Oof, almost got the death item there. But the floating cube protected me. Oh yeah, next thing coming up is difficult as well. I have memories of this cursed place. I almost game over right there, because I almost failed to get inside on the right. Oh my god. Almost game over again. It's scary, isn't it, this game? I think the next part is hard too. I don't remember seeing this too much. Probably just never got this far very much. Oh no, maybe it's not hard. Yeah, maybe I was wrong. No, it is hard because those floating cubes get in your way when you try to get up. Yeah, now I remember. This place is hard too. There's a death item that you gotta avoid there. Oh yeah, and I remember that the shape up there, the highest shape up there, I think you have to go up on the correct side. You can't pick either side. You have to go up on one of the two sides. Only one of them is okay. And I'm pretty sure I've died to that. Maybe even on this run. I don't remember. I think it was this shape at least. There's like a floating cube flying around, and if you pick one of the sides, it gets in your way. But maybe that was the difference. Oh no. I'm just dropping all the... Yeah, I have to get that option, so I had to almost game over for it. Just look at that map. I mean, the part coming up, you're not getting through that without an option. You're not getting through that without option. You have to have option. And now I'm big. You know what that means. That means I'm gonna die soon. I'm sure of it. Am I actually gonna survive this big? I guess with an option that could be doable. Notice how when you're big, you just can't move sideways. You move so slow sideways. Oh, you can't be big here. You need to be small. Oh man, yeah, this is awful. This is not a good place to be big. You see, you can't go inside there to the right. It's just impossible. You just get bounced back out. Well, first run was pretty interesting to watch. I think that might be the oldest replay as well, so some of these are a little bit more recent. Yeah, that one was from 4th July. Next one is going to be from 4th August, so this one's a bit more recent. Calipso. Okay, so this was in a crap tournament, so it's a crap game. But it's not that bad of a crap game. It's certainly not good, but it's not that bad for a crap game. Calipso. I'll give it a 3. I've played worse games. It has some weird charm, I guess, but it's pretty bad. So the controls are just, you move around, and if you hold the shoot button, you can shoot in different directions, but you can't move while you're doing it. So the strategy is to pick a spot, sit there and shoot things until you're done, and then move and collect the treasure. And you don't have much air in this game, so that's your timer basically. You run out of time very quickly, so when you finished one loop, there is just not enough air. Eventually there's just not enough air to do different levels without dying. But the game does give out pretty frequent extents too. So that's kind of how it works. I don't think there's really more you can say about this game. It's quite simple. It's probably the most simple game in the tournament even. You just go around and shoot. So on this level there's quite a bit of air. So you can kill more enemies than you have to collect the treasure. Like, you don't have to kill all the enemies, so you can kill some extra enemies to get some extra score. I don't think this game was very popular because the scoreboard was kinda easy. I didn't play this one for very long. I played Bal Cube more. One weird feature is that you move faster sideways than you do diagonally or up or down. So straight left or straight right, you move a lot faster. Kind of weird, but it can be useful. You don't need to think too much about the air bonus, by the way. It's not worth much. It's not even multiplied by anything. It's just the air bonus is your bonus score. So whether you get 200 or 300 air bonus is really not worth thinking about. This level, I guess my strat might be bad, considering all those deaths. I don't know, I didn't really learn strats for this game. I just kinda picked spots that seemed sensible and sat in them. Now we've looped the game. This is stage 1 again. As you can see in the loop, there's just a lot more enemies. That means you will get more score, but it also means you have to delay taking the treasure more, because there's just more enemies you have to kill first. You can't really go for the treasure if there's enemies that will kill you, because you're gonna move so slow you can't defend yourself. You can't shoot when you're collecting the treasure. So you really gotta clear out the enemies first. Exceptions being enemies that are stuck somewhere that won't bother you. You don't have to kill those. But that's only on some levels. On most levels, you pretty much have to kill every enemy. Looks like this one's just barely gonna make it. 27R. It's like an eel or something. I'm guessing it's an eel. It's like stuck up there. Oh. There's even more enemies coming out. But it's not like I had a choice. It was either die or die with slightly more score. So I guess I could have killed the enemies and died with slightly more score. What a weird level. It's like they just forgot to add the enemies at the end on that level. I don't think this game was playtested. Not for very long at least. This level's like, this is my hole. I'm scared of going out because I won't be able to protect myself. Kinda seems like you have to die on this level. There's not enough air. Maybe if there's a better spot to sit in where you can kill the sharks or whatever faster. Is this the final level of the loop? Can't remember. Can't remember how many there are. No, this can't be the final level because it's an odd number. Has to be next level. Man, those crabs are being annoying. Almost got screwed over. Yeah, this is the final level. And we don't have any extra lives, so... I'm guessing I'll game over here. $200 points for these. If only there was a little bit more air. Alright. That's Calipso. Not the most interesting game. Next is Centipede. This is the short one, because we're doing a time attack mode. Set. I play this on a keyboard. This game is for trackball. It's hard to get the precision you want with keyboard. The main issue is shooting these mushrooms. You have to be so precise to do that with keyboards. It's a shame. I tried playing this with mouse, but with mouse I had some trouble with other things instead. So it was a pick your poison kind of thing. Oh yeah, let's update. This game's pretty fun. I'd give it a 6. I really would like to try it on a trackball. It's pretty cool. It's got interesting strategies, and the hectic nature of time attack suits the game a lot. Basically, you get bonus points for shooting these spiders relative to proximity. So if you're right next to them, you get 900 points. If you're really far from them, you get 300, and if you're in between that, you get 600. So 600 is what you can expect to get most of the time. But trying to get 900 as much as possible adds up. And then there's the centipede. If you shoot the heads, you get more points. And each time if you, so the head is the front, right? So each time you shoot the head at the front, the body behind it turns into the head, the next head. So if you just keep shooting the front, you get bonus points. But it's pretty hard to set that up most of the time. You can also get some points for shooting the larva. And the worst parts here, because I'm using keyboard, this is definitely the worst part, the part that's the most uncomfortable about the game, is that these mushrooms keep popping up and there's just not really enough time to get rid of all the mushrooms you want to get rid of to keep the screen clean. Because you have to be dead center under the mushroom for it to count as a hit. And you move so fast, like to play this on keyboard you have to move so fast, right? It's really hard to do that. You'll keep like tapping keys trying to adjust so that you get under the mushroom, and you're just wasting time trying to do that. So that ends up being the weakness of all my runs, is eventually there's just too many mushrooms and I can't get rid of them anymore. If you watch like a top replay, like the highest 2 scoring replays in this Olympics, you'll see that they keep the screen more clean from mushrooms than I managed to do. And that was a consistent problem. I mean, this run was my best, so this run was better than most for that. Usually by the time I have like 2 minutes and something left, there's just too much mushrooms. One nice strat you can try to do is to keep like a 2-tile wide gap somewhere. From the top all the way to the bottom. Make sure that there's some place where there's a 2-tile wide gap. Eventually the the centipedes can enter that gap, and that's a good time to sit there and shoot the centipede as it goes down through that 2-tile wide gap. Of course, in order to make this happen, you have to keep cleaning it from mushrooms, so that it doesn't get blocked by any mushrooms. And in order to be able to keep cleaning it, you also have to make sure that you don't have to clean mushrooms at the bottom all the time, so yeah. The game's pretty interesting, as you can hear. Although there are some things that were a bit mysterious to me, like how this spider behaves. I don't know if there's some way to tell what it's gonna do, or if it's just 100% random. Like maybe, I thought for a while that maybe it has something to do with the color, but I just couldn't find a pattern even for the color. With the shot, you can only have a few shots on screen at once, but there is built-in high fire rate. So if you're right next to something, you'll shoot tons of shots. But if all your shots are missing, you can't do anything for a while. Well, that was fun to watch. It was pretty fun to play, despite the whole keyboard thing. That did make the game more, like, less fun than it should be probably, but I do recognize that the game's pretty cool actually. Next is Chicken Shift. This is a really good game. This was really fun. It's not perfect. It's not, but it is really cool, and it's really cool to play for a while at least. The main appeal of this game is like the main level. There's 3 different types of levels. 2 of them are like more, kind of a more bonus level in nature. They don't appear as frequently. They like interspace the main levels basically. So this is the main level. Now these main levels are the main appeal. There's 2 buttons. You press one button to switch the tubes that are blue, and the other button to switch to tubes that are red. It starts out really easy, but the difficulty escalates later, and that's when the game gets really interesting. You can get some bonus points from these main levels. If your egg is in a tube and you don't switch the tube, you see that it says 200 there to the right. That's the bonus points I would get if I switch the tube while the egg is in the tube. But as long as you keep not switching the tube, it goes up. So now it says 500. Next time it will say 2000, that's the most you can get. So I'm gonna switch on 2000. You also get bonus points for never breaking any eggs. Perfect round bonus 1000. This is one of those bonus levels I mentioned. The bonus levels do take a lot of time. That's why this game is maybe not that great in the long run. You have a lot of these levels that are not the main difficulty, and then there's one level that will keep repeating. That is absurdly hard, and everything else just doesn't even come close. So I guess that is a little bit of a flaw, but I don't know, I just really like this game. It's really charming. Okay, so I wasn't watching for a while there, but I think I'm gonna go for a little bit of bonus points from a technique here. Yeah, so here you get points for checkpoints basically for the eggs, but it is possible to get these eggs to travel twice rather than once. if you try to do it more than twice, you'll actually lose. They'll like break on their own, or you run out of time or something like that. I don't remember, but yeah, there's only enough time to do it once. But it is a little bit of bonus points. And on these bonus levels, you can also get bonus points from trying to bounce the shikes as many times as possible, but I didn't route it out that much. I just routed it out in a way that felt comfortable, and that gets like a few more points than you would get if you try to speedrun it as much as possible. So you could probably get even more points than this, but it's gonna be very little anyway. It's only 30 points per bounce. And now the main level gets a little bit more complex, but it's still easy. I'll point out when it starts getting hard. I dropped one, but notice how it didn't reach the floor, so it didn't break. As long as it doesn't break, it's still a perfect round. So that was lucky. These levels are just pure routing. There are no random elements. It's just learn the strat and you do it every time. It's no problem. You get some bonus points here. This looks intimidating, but it is really just a matter of memorization. You can do this on the fly. It moves slow enough that it's possible to do on the fly, but it's so much simpler to just route it out. It will speed up a lot later, and at that point you really do want to have just a 100% route, because it'll just move too fast to react and try to do it without a route. So this is where the true chicken shift begins, except not really. Okay, drop one. That's bad. Basically, this level is the first one where there's 3 of each tube, right? So it's really kind of a mindfuck. But next time this level appears, it will have twice as many eggs, and then it's basically impossible unless you're some kind of genius. Because the hardest part isn't necessarily just to keep track of all the eggs, it's like... Oh yeah, so here I could have kept that going a bit longer, but I was gonna die anyway, because one of those eggs was on the left, and you see how the egg basket is full. If the egg basket is full, and you get an egg on that basket, that counts as a cracked egg. So I was gonna die no matter what there. Here, the strat is actually to suicide all your lives, so I'm going to, even if I'm about to win, I will die on purpose. That is because the next time this level appears, it's just too difficult. It is just way too difficult, so it's better to just suicide all your lives. Try to get as much score as you can from this level. For tournament purposes at least, like if you're super serious about this game, I guess you would be forced to learn that really crazy level, but yeah, I tried with save states and it was just too much. Now we're gonna die there. That was on purpose. The previous death was a little bit too early, so it could have squeezed a bit more points in, but this death was good. So sometimes you just get multiple eggs at different parts of the screen that requires different tube placements. Meaning that you have to get an egg to go into a tube, and then a split second later you have to switch that tube so that an egg somewhere else on the screen can enter a different tube that is of the same color. And sometimes the timing you have to use for that is basically just so strict that it's unbelievable. And yeah, if this game was more modern, they would probably try to program it in such a way that you can't just get completely screwed like that by the eggs. Nice to get a perfect round there on the last round. 2 suicides and then 1 win. That's the strat. Now this looks intimidating as well because these move so fast, but it's still the same strat, so as long as you've got the strat down, it's not an issue. I'm probably gonna go for the bonus points here. Oh no, I don't go for the bonus points on this fast one, okay. Probably don't want to risk it when I've just had a good pace. See, now these chicks go really fast, so if you don't have a route, you're just gonna get overwhelmed. Alright, now that we've gotten this far, I'd like to present to you True Hell. This is one of the most nightmarish levels in video game history. It is so crazy, it defies all words. Not even close. I still have not beaten this level in my save states a single time. Not once. I've gotten close, but I still haven't beaten it. You've got to be some kind of genius to make that one even 50% consistent. Next is Crazy Balloon. More like old, early 80s stuff. All of the C games. Crazy Balloon is really cool as well. Where is my replay? Oh, there it is. Yeah, like this game is from all the way back in 1980, and considering what the technology was like in 1980, what you could even do, this game is awesome. It's fantastic for that time. They're very resourceful. Like, the core idea is good, but they're also very resourceful in how they stretch out the game. Like, how they make sure there's more than just one level, and how the levels change. It's very, very resourceful of them, and I would say it's very impressive. Okay, so... I think I was third. Yeah, I was third. I would have liked to have played this more. I just didn't feel like playing it even more, but I should have. If I was more, like... I didn't play this Yolympics as much as I usually do. If I was put more time into it, I would have definitely put a lot more time into this game. Yeah, I'll give it a 7. So your balloon sways automatically. You don't have any control over the left and the right swaying. And that is part of the appeal. That's part of the strategy. That's part of what makes it unique. Other games that came later, like Kuru Kuru Kurin, for example, work in a similar way. You're moving an object through a maze, you can't touch anything. But it's not just a still object, the object is moving on its own in some way. In Kurin it's spinning, and in this game it's swaying. And in both cases it's interesting. Now in this game you die in one hit, because it is an arcade game, so it's gonna be a little bit more unforgiving than... Oh, well, that was an early death, that's not good. And even though this game has many levels, I think this game has 16 levels, and then it loops. That's a lot of levels, but there's actually only 3 mazes. It's just that the mazes keep changing slightly. Now we're on maze 2 again. How is maze 2 gonna change? Oh well, it's gonna be moving. It's not so scary on its own. What's really scary is when you've beaten the first, like, I think it's like 8 mazes. Then it adds another threat. Although the last level before they add that threat is very difficult, to be honest. It's gotta be this level. Yeah, this level is the first hard level in this game. It's the same as another, it's maze 3, and it's the same as another level, except there's just more spikes. So there's less room for error, because there's just more spikes, it's more narrow. You gotta be very careful on this level. You can take that path with the yellow spikes, and you'd think that would give more points, but I've actually tested it and it gives less points. That's why I do not take that path even on the first time that maze appears. It gives less points for some reason. Okay, now that we've gotten this far, something's gonna change again with these levels. It's gonna add Bart Simpson. A grey Bart Simpson. And what does he do? He blows wind. And when he blows wind, you move against your will. So the strategy to deal with these phases is just to be aware of exactly how high or low you need to be to trigger the wind. And then you need to trigger the wind at the horizontal position and the right amount of times. And that's how you deal with it. So it's just a lot of memo. But it's fun, it's interesting. It's not super hard to figure out like how to deal with the wind. Here you see you can avoid triggering this wind here by just not going high enough. And then here you have to trigger the wind when you're hugging the right spikes, so that it doesn't blow you all the way into the left ones. Because he doesn't like, if you move down, he doesn't like, the wind doesn't like stop. The wind only stops after a set amount of time, and then whether you're high or low enough just dictates whether or not he will blow wind again. So when he does blow wind at you, you're forced to move a certain distance from that. That's why it's kind of memo based because of that. And these phases just keep appearing in different spots to change the routes. It's pretty cool. You see, like how what I did there, it wasn't all that complicated. It's pretty straightforward once you know what to do. It's just a matter of knowing what to do, and sometimes you have to be very precise as well. But the precision mostly really starts to kick in loop 2, which we will see. Okay, so this level is scary. I would say if there was another level that I said was like this is the first hard level. Well, this level is basically the same, except the beginning is way more unforgiving because of that wind guy. This wind guy in the top right, he is a nightmare. He's the first truly hard wind guy in the game. This one's not too bad. Oof, I almost went too far there. Should be looping soon. Oh, it's this one, but it's moving. Yeah, this one's scary. But as long as you keep up the pace, it's not that different from the normal level. Because like here, you just want to wait for the floor to go left or right, and not up or down. Because if it goes up or down, you can't really make it through that part. So you just gotta wait until it goes left or right, and then you can make it through. Nothing really changes. Okay, so now we're at loop 2, and you see what I said about this game being so resourceful and how it like progresses. So it's had the levels move, it's added spikes, and then it added a wind guys in different spots. Well, now in loop 2, the balloon sways faster, which makes it a lot more difficult. There's a lot of levels that are so precise with this fast swaying balloon. We can no longer make it through that pink part. Maybe it is possible. Maybe, I'm not saying it's not possible. It might be. But even if it is, it's gonna be so difficult and so precise with this fast swaying balloon that I don't want to do it. Like, everything is scary with this fast balloon. Levels that previously were easy to coast through are now something you really want to take your time on to make sure you do everything right. Let's attack. I wonder what the balloon is attacking. Maybe this balloon is on a secret mission. So these maze 3 are the really unforgiving ones with the fast balloon. The next version of this maze is gonna be a freaking nightmare, but we died on this version as well. There was no need to die there. I was rushing it. There are times in this game where you die because it's hard, but there are also times where you're dying because you rushed it, and that first death was definitely I rushed it. That second death was because it's hard. It's hard to make it through that path. And if you can make it to loop 3, the balloon starts swaying even faster again, and then, you know, that's when things start getting really ridiculous. Because of that maze 3. So now I'm out of extra lives. It's pretty scary. At first I called this game a survival horror game, because that's kind of what it feels like. It's like a horror game, because suddenly you die and the balloon just pops, and it's so sudden. It's so sudden. It's just like in real life when a balloon pops. Just another one of those charming things about the game. It really gets the spirit of the balloon correctly. Okay, so this level is extremely tough on Loop 2. This is a crucial level. It's just non-stop precision. Like some levels you can feel like you can stumble through them a bit, where your precision isn't close to perfect, but you still avoid dying. Well, on this level isn't like that. On that level, your precision just has to be close to perfect the whole time, or you really will die. Now we have the faces too. If you take too long, then a new face will spawn and kill you. So, like if you sit too long in the same spot and you haven't made any progress. So it's not like running out of time, because there's like a score bonus that gradually goes down from 1,000 if you take too long. It's separate from that. It's just if you sit and you haven't made any progress for like 15 seconds, I don't know, for a while, a face spawns and kills you. Which can be pretty scary if you haven't seen that before. You're like, whoa, what happened? I think the end is near. This level shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I guess I just made a big mistake. Oh, Crazy Balloon. It's so crazy. It really gets the spirit of Crazy Balloons. It's a great game. Anyone that has an interest in gaming history, like super old games. I don't have as much interest as I'm sure some people do, but I have some interest in that. They need to play Crazy Balloon. Next is Dimahoo. Dimahoo, we actually have 2 Rising games from that series, the Mahou Daisuken series, in the same tournament. That's crazy. But yeah, it's the first Dimahoo. I'm not too good at those games. Let's see. Dimahoo. But neither was, like, only Surst really knew how to play this game. Everyone else is just is just trying their best, and that includes me. Yeah, Surst scored like 40 million. I didn't even score 10 million. I didn't really know how to do that. Okay, so I picked Birthday because she can insta-kill bosses. And I had a lot of trouble with the bosses in this game, so I really like that luxury of being able to just get rid of them. Although Birthday can't just get rid of boss 5. You need a lot of bombs for that. It's hard to rate this game because the scoring system is so ridiculous. I'm giving it an 8 because I'm feeling positive, but honestly I don't even know if that's right. The scoring system is so ridiculous and I just haven't gotten to the point where I even know what I'm doing. So yeah, it's hard to say. Is this really a great game? I'm not sure. I'm gonna say that it is pretty great, but you probably just have to learn how to properly interact with the scoring system before you can really say one way or the other. I can say though that I do have some criticisms against the game. Things that just don't feel so great. One of those is actually the bullet visibility, and that is a thing that's a problem in a lot of Rising games, but always for different reasons. In this game, it's that all of these bullets, they're kind of yellow, but like there's so many other things that have the same color. Things start kind of blending together sometimes, and this really starts to become a problem on stage 4, I would say. Stage 4 is where things start getting out of hand. So that's a bit of a shame. But as far as the main gameplay mechanic is concerned, it seems like maybe it could have been handled a little better, but it also does seem like if you actually get used to it on its own terms, it will play okay, I think. But I don't really like how the the shopping list is so... It's so hard to trigger and it's so hard to get away. Like the buttons to trigger it and the buttons to get it away and the buttons to cycle through it, it just feels awful. So probably the best way to handle it is just to make it part of your route. But I think it would be nicer if you could just naturally cycle through it the way you wanted to during the game. And one way you could do that would be to have like 2 screens. So I know this is an arcade game, so it would have been a bit hard for them to incorporate this, but let's say this game was on PC. You could just have one screen on the left, that's the main game, and then on the right you could have the shopping list that's like always there. And then you could just push buttons to cycle through the shopping list that are separate from the buttons you use in the game. It would just feel a lot more natural, and I think it would be easier to get into the scoring system that way. I just couldn't bother ever looking at the shopping list, and I did not bother learning what items things drop. And I got the score that I did just by using charge attacks and collecting whatever gets in my way. But yeah, the game is pretty fun. It's got good music. Some really hectic stages. Lots of shit to pick up. Interesting charge system. The cast is really like every character is good at different things. The character that I picked is pretty bad at scoring, but like if you're not good at scoring in the game, then it doesn't really matter if you pick a character that's bad or good at scoring. I think it's probably more important that you can live. And this character is pretty good at living. She's very slow, but other than that slowness, the charge attack is really powerful, and the bomb is broken. I'm sure there's so much you could say about this game. It's such a kind of a complicated game. I just don't have the words. I don't have the knowledge to say much. Oh, this was a run where I died really early. That's not good. In some Rising games you can do, you know, rank suicides and gain back lives and stuff. Well, in this game, I think it's okay to suicide a life if it's really early, but like after that you really need to not die and to increase your bomb stock, because I think some of the special items only drop if you have a lot of bombs in stock. So I'm not gonna be able to get any of those. Or, I don't know, like maybe I could have gotten some of them, but I don't think I got any of those. I don't even remember who drops what anymore. I learned a few special drops, but I didn't actually manage to get them, I think. Okay, so this is a birthday special. Boss appears, you press bomb, the boss disappears. It's magical. That boss isn't actually that hard. It's not that hard, but I mean, why not make it even easier? These treasure chests give you an item that you have not yet collected. But only if you kill them with charge attacks. Now I have a X6 multiplier. That means I finish, I guess, 5 sets. And I finished them all just purely by chance. I found out that while I was playing this game that if you just charge attack things at random and you're using a lot of level 8 charges, but not always level 8 charges, you try to use some in-betweens too, you're gonna finish sets randomly all the time. Like you'll always have, if you play like that, you'll always have like at least X3 starting this level. At least, sometimes more. And you could get more X, you could increase it more by killing those treasure chests. If you're really good at the game, you would have finished all of the normal sets when you get to these treasure chests, and then the treasure chests drop items from special sets instead, I think. Which is how you get extremely high scores. You need to finish all your sets before you get to these chests. And then the magic will happen. Of course, I don't know how to do that. X8, that's pretty good. I usually don't have X8 here. I guess that's why this ended up being my PB, huh? Oh, X9. You know, I would love to make use of this high multiplier and use just a lot of level 8 charges, but if you... It's scary. I don't really know how to use level 8 charges here without like dying or risking dying. See, even now that I use the level 7 charge, I couldn't actually collect the items. Yeah, it's rough. You kinda gotta learn what to do. There is an element of reactive gameplay in this, but at the end of the day, if you don't know what you're doing, it's gonna be disorienting. I got some items there. This boss is a little weird. I did try practicing this boss a little bit for survival without bombing, but I just couldn't quite get the hang of I think there was one pattern that was giving me a lot of trouble. Oh, what the hell? Okay. A crazy name lag. Okay, now this level is pretty awesome. I really like the music, and I just really like how the level feels and progresses. This is a cool level. But I fucking hate the boss. I hate that cunt so much. He is way too hard in in an unfun way. And he really sucks for birthday, because birthday is really slow, and some of the things he's doing is a lot easier when you're faster. Like, I don't want to waste this high multiplier I have, so I'm trying to use some level 8s. It's just, every time I try to go for level 8, I know I'm risking dying in the process, so it's scary. Dude, I love this song. It's just so triumphant. It just sounds like you're so cool. You're like you're this cool main character basically, and you're fighting this this force. It just feels awesome. Rising's really good at this in Bad Rider as well, making these stage themes that makes you feel really cool and awesome. Like, this doesn't feel like that the stage is a song. It feels like your song. You're the badass here. Some stages, you know, usually stages in shmups, the music feels like it's the theme of the stage. And this doesn't sound like that to me. I think I missed the bomb. That early death really sucked for this run. I could have had 4 extra lives right now. I think I had one run that actually no-missed to the final stage through a miracle, or either no-miss to the final stage or it died at the very end of the stage 5 boss. And I still didn't clear. Because stage 6, I have no idea what to do. It's just a nightmare. Okay, this boss. This has got to be one of my least favorite Rising bosses ever. This dude is just so fucking annoying. The music is great. It's a new variation on one of the Mahou Daisakusen boss themes. The Bastionet one, I think. Yeah, the Bastionet. It sounds great. I just hate this boss. It just feels awful to play. It's way too hard. All the other bosses are fine, I just hate that one. Oh, what? See, that's so ridiculous. Look at that. One of those enemies didn't die to my charge attack and it rammed me. What gives? Yeah, this run was really bad on the progression side of things. It just ended up having the highest score somehow. I did have a run that got to the final boss's second to last pattern. But I would have wanted to see too if I didn't drop one of the bomb items at the end. I dropped it. It went off screen. 1 million point item. I didn't even get that on purpose. It just dropped somehow. I don't even know what the trigger is. Nice. Do I beat this boss? I can't really remember if I beat him or not. Oh, that was not a good bomb. Okay, I did beat him. That was not a good bomb though. So I'll probably game over here, right? I don't know how to dodge that. Alright. Dimahoo. Fun game. Gauntlet. Now, okay, so now we've had a bunch of fun games in a row. 4 fun games in a row. Now we're gonna have a a really boring game, and this game is gonna be so boring that I think I have to fast forward. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fast forward this one. Not all of it, but there are things that will need to be fast forwarded. You'll understand if you see. Well, this game is horrible. I understand that it's like a big influence on hack and slash games in the future. I understand that, but it's just a horrible game.
100 points.
Okay, so Gauntlet.
Say keys to open door.
Two.
Oh.
I'm not gonna give it a 1. In a way, it does deserve a 1, but I'll give it a 2 because you know it's not the worst game ever or anything. It's just bad. Okay, so you have to shoot these guys, and right now I'm aiming for the enemy spawners. And you might wonder, why are you running away so much? Well, that's because you can only have 1 shot on screen at a time. And if these guys touch you, you lose health, and you need to... Health is important. And it's very easy to think, okay, this shot is gonna hit him, and then it actually misses. So if you're not 100% sure that it's gonna hit, you need to move back. Or you will just take hits all the time. You need to move back and make sure things die. You can pick between Warrior, Valkyrie, Wizard and Elf, and I'm not sure why Wizard was the one people recommended for high score. I'm not sure, but if I remember correctly, Wizard's special property is that his shot sometimes does more damage at random. And I guess that means you could... See, that sucked. I guess that means you could kill these ghosts in sometimes less than 3 hits. And there are enemies that come later where you have to hit them a certain number of times to get a certain number of score. But it looks like the Wizard is unaffected from that, like the Wizard's random damage thing doesn't affect that, which makes Wizard okay to play. Elf moves really fast, I think, and Warrior, I don't remember what's good about Warrior, but he can't shoot through diagonal gaps, so he's got some issues on some levels. I don't even remember what Valkyrie does. So here we need to collect some keys and health, and just take as little damage as possible, because we're gonna need... The health is gonna be a resource that we need later to get score. The enemy spawners are also random. They spawn enemies at random times. Sometimes the enemy spawners will not spawn any enemies for a while, and sometimes they'll spawn 3 enemies in a millisecond. It's totally up to chance. Okay, so now we get to level 4. This is where you'll really see how crappy this game is. It's just a long corridor that stretches on for minutes, where you have no choice but to sit and shoot over and over and over and over again until you can finally make progress. There's a lot of levels like this in the game. It is terrible level design. You cannot excuse this level design. Most players, on the part coming up, most players use 2 different strategies than what I'm doing. Most players either use a magical potion here to wipe out all the enemies, or they wait for like, what is it, 5 minutes or something? If you wait for like 5 minutes, all of the walls disappear and turn into exits. So that's another strat you can do. I choose to sacrifice some health in order to make it through with all of my potions. Because health also goes down on a timer, so if you wait, you will lose a certain amount of health from that, like 200 or 300 health from waiting. I can't remember which one. I think it was 200. And I thought like, no, I don't want to wait. I'm just gonna spend my health to get through, because you can't get through without losing health. Not on that one part. There's some health items here. Health items are random too. Or supposedly they're random. Maybe there's something triggering them. Also, if you shoot and you shoot a health item, it disappears. So if you're like running around and shooting and a health item appears when you scroll the screen as you're shooting, you'll shoot the health item and it'll disappear. It's so awful. When the health items are random, that's so fucking awful. See, this level just goes on forever. And you're just doing the same shit. This is one of those overrated arcade games. Like, what is this? Who thought this was a good idea? Does anyone enjoy this? Just look at it. It's hard to imagine anyone would enjoy this. I don't know. Maybe it requires some special tastes. But yeah, this game is considered a big classic. It's one of the more popular old arcade games. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's just because there's so many levels. Lots of content. Kind of a precursor to modern games, I guess. More equals better rather than better equals better. Okay, so now we've got into a decisive level. There's different strats you can do in this level. At first, I used save states to try to learn how to get through the level efficiently to reach the next level that I want to get to, where I can get score. Because there's one level after this you can get to where you can get lots of score. However, I found that this level is extremely difficult, and I found that trying to get through this level, losing less health than you can lose by just waiting, is almost impossible. So I decided to just wait, because if you wait for 200 health, I'm gonna speed up the game now. If you wait for like 200 health, all of the walls will turn to exits. So I'm just gonna sit here and do nothing. Incredible, right? What a game mechanic. Why would they do this? I don't know, but somehow they did. There we go. So now there's these death enemies, they're the black robe guys.
All may be destroyed.
If you shoot them, I think it was 5 times, that changes, each time changes their score value. And it changes the score value of all of them on the whole level. So now I've shot them 5 times, and then I use a potion, and look, my score went from like 10k to 100k. And I have one more potion, so I'm just gonna use that potion on some more black robe dudes. There we go. You don't get any score by doing anything else in the game. It's just these black robe guys. Those are the score enemies. The rest of the game is just trying to get to as many of these black robe guys with potions as often as you can.
Wizard needs food badly.
Also, these teleporters just teleport you randomly. Except not really. It teleports you to whichever teleporter is closest to you. But if there's equal distance, I don't know how it chooses... I don't know how to make it choose the one I want to go to. Some health items. No, I'm stuck.
Wizard is about to die.
Yep, that's Gauntlet. Fucking crappy game. It sucked ass. Okay. Next is King of Dragons. This game's cool. But I barely played it. This was on my like list of games to learn to 1cc, but by the end of the tournament, I had already 1cc'd so many games. I just didn't feel like learning this one anymore. But it's pretty good actually. So this is just a total throwaway run where like half the run was basically blind. I randomly tripled my score on this credit. And I didn't do any save state practice. So I didn't really know what was gonna come. Oh, not Kingdom Grandprix, King of Dragons. Japan version. This game has like melee... It's a beat 'em up that's extra simple. It has melee attackers that have a block move. And it has ranged attackers that don't have a block move. And that's basically it. There are also special items that you can use to clear out the screen. I don't really know how the scoring in this game works. I have no idea. I don't have any idea about a lot of things in this game, but at first I was playing Cleric because that was recommended. He can block. But I was having some trouble and I couldn't make it very far. So then I tried Elf, and I randomly tripled my score, because I guess Elf is easy mode. So yeah, for most of this run I will be playing not 100% blind, but let's say 90% blind, because I did credit feed through this game once before. So I know I've seen everything, At least once, but you know, that's years ago, and it was just credit feeding, so it's not like I knew. It's not like I could remember much from that. Everything that came was just like a surprise. From like the, I guess, 4th or 5th stage onward. I hear from for beat 'em ups this game isn't all that hard. Elf is easy mode. He can't block, but he doesn't need to. I'm not used to playing beat 'em ups with blocking. I know Knights of the Round also has that as like a important mechanic, but I never really played Knights of the Round much. And yeah, none of the beat 'em ups I've played much have blocking. So whenever blocking is a mechanic, I feel kind of lost. Like I try to use it, but I feel like I'm doing it wrong. Like sometimes I successfully block things, but I feel like I'm not using the blocking correctly. Like sometimes I'm wondering, like, should I even be blocking right now, or should I just try to move around like in a normal beat 'em up? You can't grab enemies, of course. This game is too simple for that. It's just attack, jump, and jump attack, and a special move that drains your own health. No grabs, no throws. So if you play a blocker, I'm assuming that you really gotta use that to its fullest potential. But Elf is so simple. Just run around and attack things. It's a lot easier to do like on reaction, I guess, than to play a blocker. Like the Elf's normal attack, it does a decent amount of damage. You'd think it would, considering how good it is to be able to attack from a distance, you'd think it would do a little bit less damage. But the damage it does is pretty massive. This game's got nice music and style. I like fantasy style in video games. Oh, I think I forgot to change the text here. I think 7 for this game. It's a bit too long. Like it does have some repetition. What was my rank? 6. It is a little bit too long, but it's nice. It's good. There's a shitload of bosses to learn, because the game is like 1 hour long. And sometimes a boss can take a while. By design. Like this dragon takes a while, right? I guess you could speed it up by using the special move and drain your own health. But you know, that would drain your health, so... This song sucks. It's like a 5-second loop. Yeah, the song just feels unfinished. This boss just never ends. Notice how he has 2 different fire breaths, one that instantly makes fire and one that winds up and then makes fire. If he uses the first one, that's why I'm so careful with him. If he uses that's the first one. If he uses that one while you're attacking him, I mean, you can't move away. It's too late to move away. That's why it's best to just attack once and then move. And I think trying to do it any other way is just too risky. But I don't know. Maybe there is a different way to fight this boss. I didn't watch any replays, so I don't know. Sacrificing some health to ensure the kill. I think that makes sense. Using the special move seems to be really important in this game. Kind of as like a, I'm going to get hit now and like to use it before that happens. Because when things damage you in this game, you lose so much health. Enemy herding and stuff feels weird when you don't have grabs and throws. It's literally just dodging in this game, I think. I don't really understand this boss. I think this was like the second time I faced this boss. I think I did it like once with Cleric. Maybe twice. This was probably my first time with Elf. Okay, well that wasn't very smart. It's a pretty cool boss though. I'm pretty sure the next level was as far as I got with Cleric. But I got a lot farther with Elf. This song kicks ass, by the way. Skeletons have this weird jittery movements. It doesn't look fluid. I guess they always have invulnerability and attack when you after you've hit them. Oh no, I think this level was as far as I got with Cleric. I thought that this and the previous level was the same, but no, the levels are just so short in this game. I don't know if the feathers hurt you. No, I guess they don't. I haven't even seen those enemies attack, they just die. I wonder what they do if they attack. Oh, one tried to attack there, I think. Oh, I see now. These guys are pretty easy though. Oh, I remember now, the boss here is so stupid. I have no idea what you're meant to do on this boss. I guess the boss doesn't come yet. This fucker. It's the Minotaur again, and this time there's less vertical space. So when he rushes you, that has huge vertical range. So if he's in the middle when he does that, you can't dodge it. Isn't that good? So absurd. And see how he was below me where he used it there? So if I try to run down, I wouldn't outrun it. I can't dodge it. It's so fucked. Had to sacrifice a lot of health to beat that guy. See how easy mode Elf is? Can you imagine how much more learning this would take with one of the blockers? Why learn when you can just run around and shoot? I don't like. This was the first time I faced this guy. I don't even know what this boss does. He throws boulders and then smashes. I don't like how close he is. Like, I can't get away from him. Notice just how often I'm using the special move. Even if it's costing me health, it's better than getting hit by him. I can gradually kill him. I'm really happy with that, how that went. I managed to use all of my health as a resource to kill a boss I don't know how to beat. Probably should have saved one of those. I'm pretty sure I didn't even see the second one. Oh, it drained my health. Oh no. Free health. Holy fuck. This level kind of reminds me of that swamp in Sheer and the Wanderer, where everything is so fucking scary, right? Oh, that arrow just barely missed me. So scary, man. Health, nice. Oh, I don't know what this boss does, so I'm super scared. I remember fighting this boss, like how I was feeling. I was really confused and a little bit worried.
Mary's skin says, where does it say how many lives you have remaining?
I think it's the one next to the bow at the bottom. It says 0. Because that one said 1 before I died, so it's gotta be that, I think. So it looks like the spider can even either drop down on top of you or next to you. But I don't know how you're supposed to tell. So it's probably best to just always be moving, right? That seems to be working, to just always move. And if the spider drops down next to you, you just avoid moving into the spider. Oh, now there's 2 spiders. Now I'm getting really confused. As soon as there's 2 spiders, I'm just like, no, what the fuck is happening? I'm just gonna spam my special. And look, I just barely had enough health to do it. I guess this run was really lucky, huh? That's how I tripled my score. Maybe it wasn't just only elf, it was a little bit of luck as well. At the time I felt like, man, elf is easy mode, but like, yeah, I can see how there was some luck here as well. See, I kind of like enemy dodging in beat 'em ups. I think that's kind of fun. So it's pretty interesting in this one. There's no grabs, no nothing. Just dodging. Dodging and shooting. You're not hitting it, you're shooting. So it's like a shmup, isn't it? Dodging and shooting. It's basically a shmup. Yeah, it is a run and gun. With this character, at least. It's a belt scroller run and gun. I guess that's the genre. Oh yeah, this boss was confusing. I don't even know how you're supposed to fight this with the cleric. Like, how would you safely do damage up close to this guy? I'm sure there's a way, but like, I just can't really imagine it. What that would be. Next is Kingdom Grand Prix. Man, that's gonna be long. Do I even want to do that today? Yeah, let's do it.
Project Co says, Holy Mecha Base.
I think I'll do this in 2 streams. It's so long. It's like fucking 40 minutes.
Project Co says, 2 report is like 5 minutes long by itself.
Is that the water level? I hate that level so much. I think that was the level that like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Yes, I hate it. It's so boring. It is the most boring level in the Rising shmup history, I think. It's like after I did my run, when I was done with that level, I felt like never again. I don't want to play this ever again. Because it was so boring. That's why I didn't play again. I didn't want to play again.
Mary's kid says, WTF, I love you like AGP. I like it for a bit, but I don't like playing it well.
It's too boring. I mean, I love the art style and the music, and it has a really interesting idea and all that. So I mean, it's not like I dislike the game. I just really don't like playing it for a tournament, for 1cc, for score, for like multiple times. It's not good. It's not that kind of game. Playing it a few times is one thing, but like playing it over and over and over again, no, not that game. Mahou Daisakusen is a little bit like that too, by the way. It's a little bit less boring, but it's not very good to play over and over. So it's like it's not that kind of game. It's more of a set piece type game, cinematic. A shmup that tells a story visually. But it's not a great game to play repeatedly. Mahou Daisakusen. I guess Dimahoo is the only game... Yeah, I don't know what to do. What is this guy even doing? I don't know what to do against him. I guess Dimahoo is the only game in that series that's like designed to be fun to play repeatedly. Like, Mahou Daisakusen's fine to play a couple of times, but... like, once you've been wowed by all the set pieces, it doesn't have all that much to offer anymore. Like, stage 5 is cool, I guess, to play, but... that's really about it. The other stages are very interesting to play. Alright, next game is KGP. Like, I'm gonna give it a positive rating because the game's cool to play at first, and I think that's valuable. I just didn't want to play it for score ever again. Well, I mean, for score, I mean very little scoring, but like, I didn't want to play Loop 2 again. Loop 2, it's horrible. It's so freaking boring. I know Shipping Mahou Daisakusen, the Japanese version, I know that's a little bit more exciting because the difficulty is a little higher. But you're still gonna go really slow, right? To be safe, you're still gonna play really slow, and when you're playing this game slow, it gets very boring.
Mary's Ken says, I last played it like 2 years ago.
Let's see,
but I don't
King.
remember it being boring at all. Just very janky.
I mean, maybe you just didn't think it was boring, and I think it's boring. You know, different tastes.
Project Hero says, I screwed up sometimes how important even though it's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's boring. In Loop 2. When you're going fast, it's fine. It's just when you're going slow, it's boring. Okay, so... Kingdom Grandprix. You know, I love this game's soundtrack, and the art style is almost as good as Mahou Daisakusen's. So it does have a lot of personality, so I'm still giving it a 6. Well, I mean, maybe a 5 for the Western version and a 6 for the Japanese one. That seems fair. Because the Japanese one is a little better, so 5 for Western, 6 for Japanese. I mean, yeah, Loop 1 is better. When you're going fast, it's better than going slow. So here we've used the spin... We've used the spin bomb glitch. I mean, the Japanese version has the same issue in Loop 2 with how it can be boring. But yeah, I mean, the Western version is even worse. So yeah, I used the spin bomb glitch throughout that whole level, but from now on I'm only gonna use it to get bonus points on some bosses, I think. Okay, so what is the spin bomb glitch? Well, before I talk about the spin bomb glitch, maybe I should just mention the game in general. It's a racing shmup. So It's got... Oh, so I died here. But I'm not gonna reset because resetting would be boring, so I don't like resetting. It's a racing shmup, so if you're at the top of the screen and you're not shooting and you're holding the shot button, you can increase your speed. But only if you stay there and you keep holding the shot button. If you push back against the bottom, you can decrease your speed. Like anything else is like in between, I guess. Here you could... I guess I'm not going slow enough. I have the wrong weapon for this. Okay, so here it's better to shoot the stop signs than to not shoot them, but I think I had the wrong weapon, so... to shoot them than to like get hit by them. This level is really interesting to score, but it's also pretty hard, and it's not really worth the risk for Yolympics. So I just decided not to try. I was trying with save states to learn how to spin bomb kill this boss, but his attack patterns are all whack. Like, there is no way to know when he's gonna use what. It's just totally random, I think. So it was a total crapshoot, so I decided not to do that. One thing that feels really bad about this game is like how you bounce. You bounce on other racers, you bounce on enemies, and you bounce against the walls. And there's a lot of walls. It's not really a free roaming game. There's a lot of walls, a lot of things that constrict you, and then you bounce around. It makes it feel really lopsided. Like, I like shmups where you can move around and do things. I don't really like shmups like R-Type where you're supposed to do nothing and just sit there and shoot whatever's in front of you, and there's not even any space to move on a lot of R-Type levels, right? This level is a bit like that sometimes as well. Like, sometimes there's literally nothing for you to do. You're just sitting there and shooting, and there's nothing else to do. So that's a common problem in this game. If this game didn't have the great pixel art and music, it really wouldn't be that great. Like, it would be almost bordering on bad, I think. We have to win races and stuff, because if you don't have first place, you don't get access to Loop 2. It's not actually worth much points to get first place. It's just... the only important part of that is really just to get access to Loop 2. Once you're in Loop 2, you want to get last place every level for bonus points and safety. See, there was nothing to do for this whole level. It's just a big nothing burger. I would like to spin bomb kill this boss, but I have a hard time knowing what his HP is. And his attacks also, he doesn't always use the same attacks in the same order and stuff, so it's hard to know. Okay, yeah, I thought maybe I wouldn't kill him just yet, but he died. You know, I wanted to try spin bomb glitch, but yeah, he died. One nice thing about the spin bomb glitch is that you can always bomb at the start of stages that you're expecting to get first place on, and that bomb will... Here, you see that bomb will hit all of the... Oh, one guy didn't get hit by it. It will hit all the other racers, and they will get pushed back so that you get first place. I think I got the spin... I think I'm in spin bomb mode right now, but I'm not actually sure. There's no visual indication. Hit him with 8 volleys of homing, then bump. Okay. That's good. It's good. I figure there's a lot of setups like that in this game. I didn't have an exact setup, but I did treat it that way for one of the bosses. I think the stage 5 one. Where I shot him X number of times, and then I just knew that I can bump him now. Probably not. I mean, I don't think either me or Surst tried really hard this tournament. And we got the highest score. So he got the highest score, I got the second highest. So, if anyone did, I guess it would have been him, but I don't know, I feel like he probably didn't try very hard. Like, I'm pretty sure he just got slightly farther than me. I didn't do, like, multiple runs, I just learned how to do spin bomb glitch on some bosses. And as you can see, I'm dying a lot, so you can probably imagine that I wasn't really resetting or doing multiple runs. This song is awesome. There's some depth to it. All the instruments just sound really rough and kind of deep. This is the stage design in this game just does not feel inspired. It's always just shoot the guys. They die, you're safe. Like, I don't know. I think some of the not Yagawa Rising games have these problems with not making the game exciting. I have a soft spot for Mahou Daisaku-sen because I just really love the art style and the music for that, but that game also has this problem in spades. It is quite a boring game for the most part, as you know, to play repeatedly. Yeah, maybe yeah, that might be it. But the racing element is an experiment in this game. It's not. I don't think anyone would say that the racing element in this game is done perfectly. Like, it is an experiment, and it is, whether it's a successful or a failed experiment. Oh, a third death. Yeah, this is just like I remember it. I was dying a crap load in this run, so I've died 3 times on loop 1 already. Yeah, I think so as well. It's a great concept, it just wasn't done well. It doesn't match, like, the shooting and the dodging and the racing in this game, it's all mismatched, it just doesn't go together. And dodging, like, there is very little dodging in this game, I mean, let's be honest. even in the Japanese version, it's more like a bullet sponge enemy game than a dodging game. Like enemies have a lot of HP and you gotta kill them. It's more that kind of game. Did my spin bomb glitch run out or something? Yeah, apparently I cancelled it on accident, so I guess I'll use another bomb. For some reason, I kind of like this level. Of all the Loop 1 levels, something about this level just felt better to me. I can't really put a finger on it. So there is one racing shmup, it's a tube shooter. I know I mentioned this game many times to people, and I haven't played it that much myself, but when I do play it, I'm really enjoying it. So it's called Tourist Trooper. It's a tube shooter like Gyrus, but it's also a racing game. So you're up against the clock, and you can go faster. And when you go faster, you go through the projectile. So like, imagine if in this game, instead of shooting enemies everywhere, like imagine if it was just bullets. Mostly just bullets, barely any enemies, just bullets everywhere, and you're racing through the bullets. That's kind of like Tourist Trooper is like, except Tourist Trooper is a tube shooter, and the tube shooter part of it just goes better with racing games, because to take like F-Zero, for example, like F-Zero X also has these levels where you're, rather than being on the inside of a tube, you're like on the outside of a racing tube, right? So it's got that kind of perspective. Yeah, you should check that game out. It's called Tourist Trooper. It's super fun. It's really exciting. It's way better than this game. Yeah, exactly. This game was an experiment that has its charm, but just didn't really succeed. Yeah, but I paid the price for that. Was it worth it? As you can see, I didn't actually do that much scoring in this game, but I died a lot trying it, so I needed to practice the scoring more. Also, there's stages like fast-moving Gradius stages, and fast-moving like Turrican 2 also has like one of those shmup stages where you go ultra fast, and it's all terrain, so you have to go in little tunnels and shit. And the Gradius also sometimes has this, and some other arcade maps sometimes also has those, although they're pretty uncommon. I feel like that would lend itself well to racing too. Stuff like that. So a mixture of like terrain and bullets, and not that many enemies. Like, I'm not saying zero enemies, just not that many enemies, because you gotta if you're gonna have enemies, you wanna incorporate them properly, right? And also no opponents. Don't have opponents. It's probably best to just avoid having opponents altogether for a racing shmup. Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, that was the water level. I think 2-2 was also really boring. So now that we're done with loop 1, I'm just gonna play for survival, except that I want to get spin bomb kill on like 2 bosses. I think. I'm pretty sure that was the plan. So I'm gonna be playing a lot more carefully now. Which one was 2-3? I guess we'll see. I don't really remember which one that was. 2-5 was the graveyard. 2-3. Oh, now I remember. It's the space, it's the ship one, the giant ship one. Yeah, that level is fucking terrible. Yeah, that level is just terrible. There is no excusing that one. That's pure like R-type garbage. You're just hanging out in little corridors and you're not doing anything. Like that type of level design is like the one shmup level design I just don't understand the appeal of. I just don't get what's supposed to be fun about it. Two minutes 30 seconds. I don't think it's that cool. I think stage 3 in Dimahoo is like the most empty. Well, stage 1 too. Stage 1 and 3 are like the most empty feeling ones. I mean, it's okay, but I don't think it's anything to write home about too much. We're slow running this. That's how you're supposed to play. Everything here is a joke too. Just sit here. You don't have to do anything. So hopefully you guys understand now why I'm calling this game boring. I mean, just look at this. I'm feeling like one of those, like a kid sitting in a car saying, "Are we there yet? Are 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 we there yet?" I just want to get to the boss. Really, you play the second loop going faster? But like, why? What's the point? Yeah, like there's no reason to go faster. Wait, you just did it so it would be less boring? That's, even if it's counterproductive? Interesting. I don't know, like I usually play games trying to perform as well as I can. So if I do it, like going faster would just be counterproductive, so that was 2 minutes 40 seconds. That felt like 4 minutes. No, wait, what? Oh, I was looking at the wrong time. It's 3:27. Okay. I was looking at the opponent's time. Oh yeah, this level. Ugh. Grown. There isn't a single good Loop 2 level, is there? Don't you have trouble killing things if you go faster? Okay. I thought in the Japanese version that going fast would ruin lots of stages, but I guess that's not the case then. Yeah, I haven't played the Japanese one in so long. I don't remember how hard it is. I just remember that it's harder. Like, the main thing I remember is just that things take so long to die in the JP version that sometimes that's a problem. So I'm not taking much risks to spin bump things, or spin bump anything, because I died so much on loop 1. If I had a lot of lives, I might have tried to to do that boss. Blue screen of death? That sucks. No, nothing exciting has happened. You missed one stage, I guess. The game does flow better if you don't go slow. But it's also harder, so... And it gives less score and is harder. But yeah, this level just... When I was done with this level, I just knew that I don't want to play this ever again. Because it really doesn't feel like this level was designed to go anywhere near this slow. So that's the winter stage in Loop 2. Isn't the winter stage harder now?
Project Co says the portion after the boss is so absurdly long.
Yeah, the portion after the boss never ends. It just goes on and on and on.
Project Co says, and it's just the most wordless pseudo-game spam.
Yeah, it's just a waste of time. There's nothing interesting happening. I mean, I love Rising, but there are some things you just gotta criticize. I think this game can stand to be criticized quite a lot. Probably the worst Rising shmup. It was still interesting to see this in a tournament. I actually lobbied for the Japanese version, but Serst decided we will play the Western version. Really? You hate that guy? That's like one of the few interesting bosses. I don't know, I think he's kind of fun. I mean, a lot of the bosses are okay. I think that guy's okay too. Fuck this. Fuck this so much. Jesus Christ. That after boss section, I'm not watching that. it just never ends. Yeah, that's what the game should have been. Oh, I remember. I forgot what to do on this level. which put me in very poor shape for the next level. You'll see when I forget what to do. It's pretty embarrassing. These beholders are kind of interesting for score, but obviously I don't even have a bomb, so even if I did, I would just ignore it though. I mean, I'm gonna die to a very stupid thing. And I'm assuming I'm just gonna use my bombs after that. Here. I practiced this guy with save states, and I was like, yeah, I know how to do it now. But evidently I didn't know, because I forgot. Oh, okay. Yeah, I when I did this run, I was like, what did I do wrong? Like, I thought I was doing it right. I just assumed I forgot what to do. Or... Yeah, he's not he's not very difficult. If I had max power, it would be a little easier. I think like the main difference between me and Surst is he did way better on this level. I mean, I'm starting it with no lives, no bombs, not max power. I just don't know the stage well enough to be able to handle it with this. Yeah, 40 minutes is just a guess. I'm not sure if it's actually 40 minutes, but 40 minutes seems about right for this game. If you speed run loop 1 and then slow run loop 2, it's probably like 15 minutes loop 1, 25 minutes loop 2. That's just a guess. And I mean, I'm not gonna clear, I'm gonna game over, so we won't know how long the whole game is. I didn't have this level fully memorized, so I don't remember where I'm dead, but I'm dead somewhere. Ah, there you go. Let's see how long it was to get here. 37? Oh, there you go. So probably 40 in a full run. glad to have that game over. That was like the one game I just didn't really want to watch, if I'm gonna be honest.
Pretty solid score though.
But
GG.
I mean, I'm gonna watch all the replays. So that, but if there was one I didn't want to watch, it was that one. Magic Sword. This replay isn't gonna be very interesting. This is basically just a throwaway. The strat was to start on floor 30 and milk points, rather than starting from the beginning. So you start with a random ally, and I'm starting with a priest. Alright, so the game itself is pretty damn good. I am giving it a 7. But playing it like this was definitely not fun. 7. It's just, I didn't really want to relearn this. If I was gonna relearn this, I would wanna do better than I did last time, and that's gonna take time. I'd rather focus on other games, so that's why I decided to do this no effort strat. I mean, it still took like an hour of grinding to get this particular score, but yeah, that's just life. Ninja is pretty good at milking this guy. Yeah, someone was... there's one player who was extremely good at this, and also really good at Warriors of Fate. Furious Wolf 666. Let's see what's... I'm gonna click on his profile here, see what scores he got. Yeah, he did pretty well on some other games too, but it's mostly Magic Sword and to a lesser extent Warriors of Fate, where he's clearly very experienced. He got 14 million on Magic Sword, which is insane. And he got 3 million on Words of Fate, which is really good. That's a lot more than standard 1cc. And the Words of Fate is a very hard game to 1cc. Yeah, the arcade version is extremely hard, so I imagine the SNES version, while it's certainly going to be easier, is probably also pretty hard. I would like to talk more about this game, but this run is going to be over pretty fast because of the way I play, just going straight to floor 30 and milking. I'm not actually going to survive a lot after that, so... This game is super interesting. It's kind of like the Batrider of arcade platformers, I think, with how much like arbitrary nonsense there is to understand. Super convoluted item systems and stuff. the health keeps going down. This game has a starvation system. But right now my health can't go any lower from starving, which is why I can take it slow. If I take one hit, I'm dead though. The health bar can go under what I have, but not from starving. So one thing that's nice about this game is it's not really that much of a quarter muncher. Like if you try credit feeding through this game, you might be surprised at how like few credits you might need to use for such a hard game. I mean, you're probably gonna need quite a lot of credits if you're not great at the game. But like I've played games that are a lot easier to 1cc that require more credits if you don't know what you're doing, if that makes sense. And I think it has a lot to do with the starvation system. Like if you're not taking hits all the time, you're just gonna be starving to death, and that takes time. So you can usually get the credit to last a while. Nice item luck. I guess that's why this was my PB. Getting these 80k items. I got 2 of them. Oh, I picked up a mushroom. Poison mushroom. You can't attack if you pick one up. Tough luck. Should we continue? Yeah, I feel like I'll do one more game and then next stream I'll do the rest. So next is Mercs. That seems like a good one to end on. We can open the next stream with Mystic Warriors and Outfoxes. Makes a lot of sense to me. Mercs. Let's end with Mercs. Ending with Magic Sword would be a bit... Is that what I call it? Ending with Magic Sword would be a bit anticlimactic, I think, because of what type of run it was.
Mary says, Yolympics.
This is probably the easiest arcade counterstop I've ever seen. I almost got arcade counterstop almost immediately. First 1cc I did, and also like first run past stage 3 I think, and I only needed to practice for 1 hour. I think it was first run past stage 3, but I'm not sure. I think I think it was 1 hour of making save states, looking at a video and making save states, and then 1 hour of attempts. So, and I didn't get a counterstop, but I almost got a counterstop. 3 other people got counterstops, so yeah, pretty damn easy. Okay, Mercs. This game, I think it's 6. I think 6. This is a pretty cool game, but there's nothing really like great about it. The most important thing to counterstop is to use less bombs, because every bomb you have when you beat a level gives you 3,000 points, I think it was. So that adds up a lot over the course of multiple levels. And then if you can do that well, you can get the counterstop with some milks, yeah. It's like you need to do a little bit of both, but I would say that conserving bombs is the most important part of it. The milking doesn't give you that much. It's the milking is what you do to like ensure you actually get the counterstop. And the hard part is not using too many bombs. You can still use a lot of bombs though. And obviously the more milking you do, the more bombs you can afford to use. Like, I think the video I was watching, he only did like slightly more milking than I do, but he used less bombs, so he got a counterstop with like quite a bit to spare. And I think he said in the description that like, oh, I regret doing so much milking, because apparently I didn't need to do all of it. We can speed up this milking. You can't actually milk on all. You can't milk on all the levels. There's like a couple of milks, and that's it. So this game's pretty fun. It's fun to shoot things, but this game does not have a dodge button. And you move very slowly, and some of the enemy bullets are outrageously fast. Some of the enemy attacks are so fast that you can't actually outrun them, like sideways. Even if you're as far away from the enemy as possible, and you move sideways to try to avoid a shot, you don't move fast enough to actually avoid it, and things do a lot of damage, and you only have 1 life. So that can make this game feel really heavy-handed, because the solution for that is there's one of 2 things you can do. One is to bomb, of course, but the other solution is to use safe spots. To basically go, okay, this thing can only shoot in X number of directions. If I sit in a spot, it simply will shoot next to me and it will miss me. So I personally do not find that to be good gameplay. And there's a lot of that in the game, so I would say that's probably the biggest flaw in this game. I got stuck on the wall there. But I'm gonna be honest here, it's not as bad as it sounds. That's lagging. Okay. It's not as bad as it sounds. Like, there is a lot of that in the game where you literally cannot dodge. It's not an option. But considering what the game is like, it's surprisingly fair and playable. Yeah. Basically, it's just an imperfect game, which is still pretty fun in its own way. Looks like I've had a terrible stage 2. Having more health doesn't do anything to your score though. Like, health items gives the same score no matter if you have full health or not. So, it doesn't matter. As long as I don't die. Did I mention you only get 1 life in this game? you don't want to die. Here's a safe spot. I did actually continue a couple of runs after I got this run. I realized that like I could have milked a bit more, and then I could have had a counter stop if I did that. Like there was one level where I wasn't milking where I could have milked, so I learned how to do that. But then I kept getting game overs on stage 4, and I didn't want to milk since we played this without autofire. No, wait. I think autofire was allowed. Yeah, no. The annoying part was switching directions. When you're doing that milk, you have to like mash left and right. You have to like hold down and then switch mashing left and right. And doing that on a keyboard can be a bit of a strain to do for prolonged periods of time. And you have to do that for a long time. Like this that I'm doing here. It kind of sucks to do on a keyboard for a long time, and I felt like my hand... I shouldn't be doing this to my hand, so I just stopped playing, instead of getting the counter stop. I just accepted being slightly below. It's not like it was very important or anything. But yeah, if anyone ever wants to counter stop a game just for the hell of it, just to have that achievement, counter stopping something, pick this game. It's probably the easiest one. Well, it's the easiest one I know of on arcade. You can literally learn it in 1 day. 1 day. 1 afternoon. And not just learn it, you can learn it and then do it in 1 afternoon. If, well, if you fare better through stage 4 than what I did. I kept getting game overs there. Nitro Ball. I recognize the name. I don't remember what game that is. Nitro Ball. Data East. Oh yeah, I've never played this. Is it fun? This stage 3, is really hard on a blind run. This is a big step up in difficulty on a blind run, but when you know the strats, it's actually really easy. Yeah, maybe that will show up in a tournament sometime. I don't do random 1cc's that often, if it's outside of tournaments. Yeah, run and guns don't tend to be great for advanced play. I guess Shock Troopers is one of the exceptions. That game's super interesting. I got really interested in that. Was really impressed watching BBH run on YouTube. It's quite interesting. And it's one of those games that's not like a couple of super important parts. and then everything else is meaningless. It's like one of those games where it's just a massive amounts of small things that all add up. That's Shock Troopers. I like that. Okay, so we didn't use any bombs, that's good. Bombs are important for our score. But at some point I'm going to start using more bombs. Like, it's more important that you don't use bombs early on. Since, like, a bomb you use on the last stage would only cost you 3,000. But there's 7 stages. So that would be 21,000. From using that same bomb early on. So the longer you play, not only does the game get a little harder, but you lose less from bombing too. Basically with this run I was hoping that I would just barely get a counter stop with the bombs that I used on the later stages, but I guess I just used like two bombs too many, and I should have done more milking to make up for that. Okay, so this is the hardest part of the whole game. These boats, it's total bullshit. If this boat gets destroyed, you either have to spam bombs, because you move extremely close in the water, and these things just murder you, or you're gonna die. So what I did there was luck-based. It doesn't always work. If you want to do something that's a little bit more reliable, you would dodge the enemy fire and spin around and try to destroy the wall that way. Either way though, both are totally inconsistent for me. Once you pass that part, the rest of the game is a lot more consistent. What this boss does at the end, you didn't get to see it because I used 2 bombs. I have no idea how it's possible to avoid it. And I didn't even bother trying to figure it out, so I just decided to use 2 bombs. The video I was looking at to help me out with strats for things also bombed that boss, so I just said to hell with it and bombed it too. We've reached the point now where I'm gonna start using more bombs, because the game is starting to demand it a bit more. And also because I know I can't afford to use bombs here and there. So like, why take the risk? I like this. I think this kind of thing is really cool, as long as it's very brief, because obviously moving super slow like this is not, and not being able to dodge anything is not very fun in the long run. But just for a brief bit, giving you a huge vehicle, a tank in this case, that moves super slow and just tanks all the enemy hits, it's really cool. I think this was the part where I should have milked, but I didn't. I underestimated how much points you can get from milking here. And I remember that I wasn't sure how much time I'm allowed to have. And it turns out that I could have easily milked enough for a counter stop here and have score to spare. I just didn't know, I just wasn't aware of it. So that's a shame. You see how the timer reset here? So basically I had a full minute's worth of milking I could have done. That probably could have given me at least 20k or 25k. This boss is pretty tough. But it is just Memo, so I guess if you practice him enough, he won't be tough anymore. I didn't practice him for very long, so I decided to use lots of bombs. I wonder if I can afford to take one hit, or if that would game over me. Yeah, I would have preferred not to use this many bombs. It's a bit of a shame. Each bomb here is worth 9k. 9k, because there is a stage 7, even though it's short. I like the music for this level a lot. This level is pretty nasty with Memo. There's like an insta-death trap that you just have to know is coming. It's pretty nasty stuff. Since this game only gives you one life, you know, that's your credit instantly over if you don't know it's coming. This game has really nice music in general. Most of the songs are really pleasant to listen to. I think this was the instant death trap. It's something you don't really get to see much, but there are a lot of different weapons. I think there's at least 4 different weapons, maybe even 5. It's just that I only use 2 of them, mostly this one. Now I'm switching to another one. Yeah, I mean, it's of course better if a game doesn't have a counter start. At least in this game, you can calculate what your real score would be. Here's the final level. I think this level might require a bomb or something. But maybe you can do it without, I don't know. Don't ask me, I'm not an expert. I speedrun learning this. You see how many bombs I used on the last like 3 levels, right? And it's still pretty close to counter start. And I didn't even milk, like I only milked stage 1 and 3, which probably gave me like, I don't know, 50,000 points in total maybe? Maybe 60,000 at most. So the milking itself doesn't really account for that much. Alright. Pretty good game. Next stream's gonna have some fun games to watch. Outfoxes. Outfoxes has gotta be one of the most fun ones to watch. What else is next time? Pepper 2. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's nothing special, but it's pretty fun. No, I switched to the lady, not the circus chick, but the other lady. I think she was called Betty. Betty, yeah. The monkey he's very good at avoiding damage. That's nice. He has a tiny hitbox, but his aiming is terrible. Same as the kids, they also have terrible aiming. And I didn't like using the ones with terrible aiming, because I wanted to be like, okay, I'm gonna use a rocket launcher now, and I know exactly where this rocket launcher is gonna go, right? Or even just shooting a gun. Like, it's just nice to know that your shot is gonna go where you aim. So yeah, I think using the kids or the monkey is probably not the best idea in the long run. Even though they might take a little less damage, a little more easily. Just having a hard time hitting enemies is just gonna do you more harm than the smaller hitbox helps you, I think. Because like most of the abuse you inflict on the opponents kind of allows you to avoid taking damage altogether, so you don't really need to be tiny. It's slightly helpful, but it's not necessary. But in order to inflict abuse properly, being able to aim correctly is very helpful. fun game. So yeah, Mystic Warriors, Outfoxes, Pepper 2, Rabio Lepus, Salamander, Space Bomber, Super Cobra, Warriors of Fate, and Cowboys of Mumessa. That's the stuff that's remaining, but that will be next time. I imagine that would probably be slightly shorter than this time was.